Hello, could you please tell me what you know about the 2010 BP oil spill?
I don't really know much. All I know is that BP spilled oil. There was an accident and they spilled oil into the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, so in 2010, the Deepwater Horizon oil rig exploded, which caused 210 million gallons of oil and 1.8 million gallons of chemical dispersants into the Gulf of Mexico, coating, sickening, and killing wildlife. The oil disaster also paralyzed the local economy and distressed communities along its shore. So with that information, what do you think the company should have done to manage this crisis?
They should have cleaned it up, which I think they did, right? Or they tried to.
Yeah, anything else?
Try and get involved in conservation efforts because they killed a bunch of wildlife, so they need to restore that wildlife.
Thank you very much. Can you tell me what you know about the 2010 BP oil spill?
So in 2010, from what I understand, there was a large explosion in the Gulf of Mexico and it spilled a little over 200 million gallons of oil into the Gulf. This killed a lot of wildlife, disrupted economies along the coast, and it led to a large cleanup effort with the help of BP, but with also a lot of other groups of activists as well.
Yeah, perfect. And with that information, can you tell me what you think that the organization should have done to try to manage this disaster?
I think they did a decent job with what they did. They did help, but they didn't claim responsibility for it immediately, from what I understand, and they kind of push that off. And if I were them and had to go back, I think I would immediately come forth and say, this is my fault, and we'll put forth as much as many as much of a dollar amount as possible to be able to get a hold of this and clean it up quickly.
Thank you. Hello, could you please tell me what you know about the 2010 BP oil spill?
I know that it was in the Gulf of Mexico, and it was very big at the time, and that there hadn't been an oil spill that big from such a major company in a very long time. Lots of animals were killed, and a lot of recovery work had to be done. And for a long time, BP, I think, had to pay money on it because they ruined the environment in the area. Had to pay the government some money, and that's about it.
Yeah, so basically in 2010 there was an oil rig that exploded that released over 210 million gallons of oil into the Gulf of Mexico, obviously causing a lot of damage to the local economy and to the environment. So with that information, what do you think BP executives should have done to manage this crisis?
I think they should have put most of their resources and extra cash into trying to make the situation better, aka cleaning up the Gulf, giving money to wildlife rescue and different things like that were helping with the cleanup, make sure all their employees were safe, and just redirect their corporate strategies to making sure that this was okay and that it wasn't a PR nightmare for them.
Perfect, thank you so much. Hi, could you please tell me what you know about the BP oil spill of 2010?
The BP oil spill was a rig in the Gulf of Mexico that exploded and dumped millions of gallons of oil in the Gulf.
Yeah, perfect. And with that information, what do you think the company should have done to manage this crisis?
They need to work more with the local economies and businesses that it affected, like the lower parishes of Louisiana and all the fishermen, because all the fish died, and then years after that, oysters weren't as big, crawfish wasn't as big, so they lost most of their livelihood and their economic sources, and the tourist industry, people couldn't go to the beaches anymore, so they needed to work more with people affected on the Gulf.
Thank you. Could you please tell me what you know about the 2010 BP oil spill?
It happened because it was an oil rig that exploded and it dumped a lot of gallons of oil back into the Gulf. And I'm from New Orleans, so I did see how that affected our local economy and the tourist industry.
So, with what you know about it, how do you think the company should have responded to this crisis?
I think the company should have worked closer with wildlife and fisheries to help bring back the ecosystem in a more efficient manner to help support those different ecosystems and the lives that were in the Gulf.
Thank you. Simon, could you please tell me what you know about the BP oil spill?
I was not alive during the time, but I know it was really, really bad because I'm from Louisiana, and it makes me really sad that all the fishes died because I like to eat fish.
Thank you.